10:25, the motorcade moves into the downtown area. In a warehouse, a sniper with a rifle poised waits.
The Illuminati conspiracy. Everywhere you look in history, secrets can be discovered beneath the surface. Sometimes things are what they appear, and sometimes the truth is stranger. In this series, we're going to read between the lines to investigate the truth. Conspiracies are everywhere, and some are heavily guarded to maintain the status quo. Can we see more than we are being shown? Or will the powers that be continue to write a history to maintain control? Decide for yourself as we dive deeper into the official story. Part 1. Origins. How much power can one small group of people possess? Could they be behind all the world's modern revolutions? Could they run governments? Do they control celebrities, media behind the scenes? Is it possible that within a few hundred years, one small group who conspired to take over the world actually succeeded? Of all the secret societies throughout history, none are more notorious than the Bavarian Illuminati. The world before the Illuminati was not too different from the world that followed their arrival. There were still conspiracies to capture political power. Existing secret societies, such as the Templars, set up strategic banking strategies to control and sequester the wealth of Europe. Artists still invoked mysticism in their work. As far back as the Middle Ages, rational minds harbored occult interests, including Sir Isaac Newton. Some even say this paradigm places the true origins of the Illuminati back in ancient Babylon, where cults practiced Kabbalistic divination to try to learn the secrets of the universe. According to the contemporary history of the Illuminati, what changed the most is how their legacy has evolved over time. They've become the most talked about and feared group in conspiracy theories in each of the following centuries. Our story starts in Bavaria, an oppressive place like much of Europe in the late 18th century. This was soon going to be shaken up, and so was the world, during this historic period of revolution. On the night of May 1st, 1776, in a clandestine forest, 5 men met in secret to begin formation of a sacred order. The torches they carried that night would be symbolic of the one thing they set out to bring the world: illumination. To understand the true significance of this evening, we have to look at the man whose ideas led to that fated meeting. Adam Weishaupt was one of the foremost intellectuals of his time. An eager student of philosophy, Adam became interested in the concept of empiricism, which was introduced to him by peers at the time. He became a big proponent of rationality and materialist science. Adam was inspired and truly believed it was these very ideas which could liberate humanity from the long-standing tyranny of religion and even the rule of kings. Adam knew to accomplish this vision, he would need a small army. He started by entering the Freemasons 1777, trying to co-opt the establishment in a straightforward alliance, but soon found his ideas were at odds with that of the Masonic leadership. This caused his strategy to change entirely. He decided to begin recruiting from their ranks to build a vast network of spies for the Illuminati, a secret society within a secret society. This is a tactic which future groups would copy to gain power. Using extreme precision, he handpicked figures with power and resources such as finance giant Meyer Amschel Rothschild and Prince Karl of Hesse. With these strong new assets, the Illuminati soon grew, from 5 men to thousands. Among these men were some of the most brilliant philosophical, literary, and political minds in all of Europe, and probably the world. The newly imported Masons shaped much of the culture and initiatory system. Within their 13-level arrangement, which was attributed to Baron von Nigg, aspirants were instructed to select the name of a great figure from the ancient world to take as their new moniker. Nigg himself was called Philo, after the great Jewish philosopher from Alexandria. Weishaupt himself chose Spartacus, after the gladiator and revolutionary leader who gained fame during the Third Civil War in Rome. Weishaupt saw himself as an abolitionist in his own time. Though the organization seemed dangerous and potentially nefarious, Weishaupt's intentions were utopian and naive. He believed that by re-educating initiates in the science of reason, the order could gain political influence in order to effect radical social change at an institutional level. His goal was to avert the human tendencies for regression and the will to power. Unlike the blood-hungry revolutionaries of France, Weishaupt sought an egalitarian solution, built through the infrastructure of his expanding social network. Unfortunately, it didn't matter. In a world where revolutions were erupting everywhere, these ideas soon came under harsh persecution by the paranoid Bavarian state. What appeared to be damning leaked documents were used to paint the order as subversive and depicted the goal of aiding outside parties in a hostile takeover of Bavaria. This and the constant infighting of the order led to its banning by Prince-Elector and Duke of Bavaria Charles Theodore in 1785. Weishaupt was fired in humiliating fashion from Ingolstadt University. He was forced into exile, and the order itself officially disbanded. According to most reports, they all split up and vanished from Europe completely, without a trace. After the dust settled, one pressing question remained. Was the order really gone forever? Or did they simply go underground to regroup in the shadows and become more powerful than before? Part 2. Mythology. The official records of the Illuminati's existence after Bavaria are sparse and mostly speculatory. However, there may be compelling evidence to suggest the order's influence lived well into the next century and beyond in more ways than one. Whether by homage or a hidden hand, whispers of the order began to surface on the shores of America. A small church in Charleston, New England, was one of the first places we begin to hear of the Illuminati on the American continent. A charismatic reverend named Jedediah Morse led a small congregation in the late 1790s. With conservative values under political attack and church attendance dwindling during the period, clergymen were desperate to maintain their place in society and keep the status quo of the established American Republic. It was under these pressing circumstances that Morse, the leader of the New Israel in America movement, declared his fears of the growing influence of the French in American politics during his Fast Day sermons in 1799. In this fear-mongering tirade, Morse went as far as listing suspected members of the Bavarian Illuminati who were living in Virginia and New York, and he had the documents to prove it. He states, "I have now in my possession complete and indubitable proof that such societies do exist and have for many years existed in the United States. I have, my brethren, an official authenticated list of the names, ages, places of nativity, professions of the officers and members of a society of Illuminati, or as they are now more generally and properly styled, Illuminis, consisting of 100 members instituted in Virginia by the Grand Orient of France." Historians have generally dismissed this scapegoating as a political device to attack enemies of the conservative clergy before the upcoming elections. However, the Illuminati threat gained so much interest that it was even published in several regional newspapers at the time. Morse wasn't the only one worried about the potential Illuminati in America. In a letter to Reverend G.W. Snyder, written on September 25, 1789, America's first president, George Washington, says the following: "I've heard much of the nefarious and dangerous plan and doctrines of the Illuminati, but never saw the book until you were pleased to send it to me." He goes on to say that he hasn't been in a Masonic lodge in almost 30 years and states that, "I believe notwithstanding that none of the lodges in this country are contaminated with the principles ascribed to the Society of the Illuminati." Was he telling the truth or covering a dark secret? Who else in the political elite knew about the Illuminati? Founding Father Thomas Jefferson, who wrote sympathetically about Adam Weishaupt in 1800, saying, "Weishaupt believes that to promote this perfection of the human character was the object of Jesus Christ, that his intention was simply to reinstate natural religion, and by diffusing the light of his morality, to teach us to govern ourselves." In 1807, his political opponent and future president, John Quincy Adams, accused Jefferson of using Masonic lodges for subversive Illuminati purposes. In a letter to fellow Mason Colonel William C. Stone, he went as far as to say Alexander Hamilton was involved and that they were worshiping Lucifer. The book, Proofs of a Conspiracy Against All the Religions and Governments of Europe, written by John Robinson, which was the very same text referenced by Jedediah Morse, gained popularity among the European aristocracy around the year 1848. The book, which states that the Bavarian Illuminati survived its disbanding in 1785, was again the scapegoat, this time for the rise of the radical liberal middle class, who staged a massive workers' revolt. They called for the end of monarchy and feudalism, as well freedom of the press. Ironically, these are all values which Adam Weishaupt himself would fight for. Later on, in 1872, the Bohemian Club was founded in San Francisco as a fraternity for the arts. As the organization grew, however, it began to bear a strange resemblance to the Illuminati, and in the modern conspiracy subculture, it's the next best thing. The group started by attracting popular artists, but grew to lure in prominent business titans and political giants as well. The connections seem to run deeper than that. The symbol of the Bohemian Club is the owl. This same symbol was known to be the official sign of the Illuminati. It was attributed to the ancient goddess Minerva, who is said to bring sacred knowledge. Many modern conspiracy theorists have falsely attributed this symbol to the ancient Canaanite god Malak, due to a symbolic sacrifice ritual the club performs every year at their private grove. Malak was often the recipient of child sacrifice offerings in biblical literature, but bore the likeness of a bull, not an owl. Even in modern times, the most powerful men in the world continue to attend this cremation of care ritual. If there were a modern-day Illuminati, this is a dead ringer. Though many conflate everything of an occult nature to be associated with the Illuminati, its influence and ideals cast their shadow in many places throughout history, like some strange specter of ancient wisdom. Of all the historical figures who claimed association with the Illuminati, none were more controversial than early 20th century occultist Aleister Crowley. Dubbed the wickedest man in the world, Crowley, like Adam Weishaupt, was vastly misunderstood by his contemporaries. A similarity which may have caused Crowley's decision to canonize Weishaupt as one of the saints in his famous ritual called the Gnostic Mass. Crowley, who grew up in a parallel Victorian social oppression, followed in the footsteps of the Illuminati founder, leaving Freemasonry and eventually joining offshoot called the Ordo Templi Orientis. Crowley himself rose to prominence in the order and eventually reshaped the initiatory system in a model eerily similar to the Illuminati around the year 1912. He even called the introductory degree of his system Minerval, and some of the higher degrees are called Perfect Pontiff of the Illuminati and Epopt of the Illuminati. Could there really be a true Illuminati lineage to this order, which existed over a century later? It is rumored that Crowley used a counter-espionage system similar to Weishaupt, with an outer order network of initiates and an inner network of spies who held the real secrets of the order and protected its true motives. One thing is for sure, Crowley understood the tactics and legacy of the Illuminati better than most. Crowley is often accused of being a Satanist due to his libertine values and some of his tongue-in-cheek writings. He's almost been demonized as much as Weishaupt himself in conspiracy circles. If there was really a satanic plan for New World Order, these men would be considered the main culprits. What is the strange and powerful link between these two minds? Is it supernatural or simply inevitable? Part 3. Legacy. The mythology of both of these men and their writings has played a major role in shaping world pop culture in the 21st century. Everyone from the Beatles to Led Zeppelin has paid tribute to Crowley. It's no wonder there are so many conspiracy theories. But why are celebrities and powerful people so attracted to these ideas? Are they just libertine enthusiasts of their own time? Or were the ceremonial magic rituals Crowley practiced a gateway to something much more sinister? Perhaps the key to power and influence itself. To understand the rise of such speculation, we have to revisit the origin of these myths. Believe it or not, the iconic fable of selling one's soul for knowledge and power was invented by the Illuminati itself. Well, at least one prominent member of the order. Johann Wolfgang von Goethe was a prominent German writer and statesman of his time. One of his most famous works, Faust, popularized the narrative of a character bored with life who sells his soul to a likeness of the devil called Mephistopheles in exchange for power and sacred knowledge. Did the Illuminati really know how to perform a Faustian bargain? Or is this what they want you to believe? Are modern-day celebrities really selling their souls for fame? Many conspiracy theorists point to the strange rise of the prevalence of occult symbolism in the film and music industries. World leaders flashing hand signs, occult themes in witchcraft regaining popularity among today's youth. Around the mid-1940s, the occult fascination died down as modern science really began to dominate the interests of society. There was a moderate resurgence during the hippie movement of the 60s, where neo-paganism, Eastern mysticism, and New Age philosophy were extremely hot topics. But the Illuminati only shows up in times of collective uncertainty. This free-loving period came to a close in a strange, dark fashion with the highly publicized Manson murders. The 70s began a time of paranoia and uncertainty, especially in America. With the Watergate scandal in '72 and sinister pre-Cold War sentiments waiting in the wings, the stage was set for the order to return, but this time in unlikely fashion. The Illuminatus trilogy was an extremely popular series of novels published by authors Robert Shea and Robert Anton Wilson in 1975. This fictitious retrospective of the Illuminati's activities and legacy throughout history gave profound perspective to readers about the totality of the subject. It was also a hilarious postmodernist satire which illustrated the absurdity of the nature of conspiracies and human behavior throughout history. The Illuminati conspiracy is so widespread now that it has almost worn out its welcome, becoming something of a pop culture joke to the masses, showing up in comedic memes and celebrity skits on late-night television. Is that all it really is today? Or is that a part of the conspiracy design? Many believe the Illuminati can predict the future because it is charted out in their master plan for world domination. Some people believe that they even leave breadcrumbs as to what these events will be in popular media. Could the creators of movies, television shows, music, and other forms of art and media know the truth? Or are they merely pawns being controlled by some other means to disseminate this copacetic information to the world? Some of the most popular media platforms people believe the Illuminati sends messages through include the Super Bowl halftime show, the Olympics opening ceremony, during the presidential State of the Union address, in pop and hip-hop music videos, and in speeches given at the United Nations headquarters. Many groups have had the honor of being affiliated with the Illuminati. But do an operative inner order of controllers exist today? If there is, Cicada 3301 might be a good candidate. Cicada is a highly technologically advanced and elusive group of unknown entities said to hold anarchic Enlightenment ideals, similar to the Illuminati. They have a competitive recruitment process involving a series of puzzles and code-breaking games that took the world by storm back in 2012. The contest is designed to find humans of exceptionally high intelligence. Each puzzle left an answer, which pointed to the group's core philosophy. Not much is known about the group besides what they show the world. Is this the kind of sophisticated method the modern-day Illuminati would employ? There are very few other groups who fit the bill as well as Cicada, at least not that the public is aware of. Through the efforts to centralize world powers continue to grow stronger on many fronts, power alone was not the ultimate intent of the Illuminati's mission. Society has progressed socially as the order set out to do, but humanity still hasn't achieved freedom from religion or governance, largely due to the one thing Weishaupt overlooked: the state of the human psyche. Mankind is still in a state of codependence with these institutions, and that may be due to a much grander conspiracy man has yet to uncover. Some say this secret can be seen on the American $1 bill. The all-seeing eye in the triangle is the symbol most synonymous with the Illuminati today. The truth is, this symbol has nothing to do with the Bavarian Illuminati, who identified themselves only by the Owl of Minerva, though it is interesting that Adam Weishaupt took a special interest in the Great Pyramid of Giza. The Eye of Providence is a purely Masonic symbol. We may never know if the Illuminati truly conquered Masonry, but when you view the Washington Monument from above, it appears to be a dot in the middle of a circle. Coincidence or cover-up? Several geometric symbols are encoded in the architecture of Washington, D.C. when viewed from above, but perhaps this one is the most telling. There is no denying the existence of the Illuminati and its many disciples throughout history, though we may never know the true scope of the impact it had on our world. The intrigue of its enterprise speaks to something in the core of human nature. Fear of the unknown, fascination with hidden conflict, mistrust of those with status. As of right now, it appears that the Illuminati is a ripple, which will reverberate far into the foreseeable future. Did they capture their goal of world domination, or simply our imagination? Decide for yourself. This is only the official story.